Hang in
Dude,
there.
that Smylie Kaufman for 61. Wow.
I'm Smylie Kaufman, and this is The Smylie Show.
Welcome to another episode of The Smylie Show, and this one is going to be a bit of a different episode because, as you might be able to see behind me, I am in a cabin at Sand Hills Golf Club in Mullen, Nebraska. You might be able to hear the smooth sounds of the Dismal River trickling behind me over here somewhere in the background as the lights fading in the day. We're gonna recap my trip. I'm smitten with this place entirely. Smylie also had a golf trip earlier this week down to Streamsong, another place I love, on a little shoot with Whoop. Sounds like they ran him ragged. We got some good strain numbers to show for that. We're, of course, going to discuss Davis Riley's first individual win on the PGA Tour, just laps the field at the Charles Schwab Challenge and the newly renovated Colonial. But the place we have to start first, Smylie, of course, is with the heartbreaking tragedy that was Grayson Murray's passing. And I think the place to start first is with the statement that Grayson's parents, Eric and Terry Murray, made. This was posted on PGA Tour socials, and I just want to read this entire thing to start with. And so they said, "We've spent the last 24 hours trying to come to terms with the fact that our son is gone. It's surreal that we not only have to admit it ourselves, but that we also have to acknowledge it to the world. It's a nightmare. We have so many questions that have no answers, but one. Was Grayson loved? The answer is yes. By us, his brother Cameron, his sister Erica, all of his extended family, by his friends, by his fellow players, and it seems by many of you who are reading this. He was loved and he will be missed. We would like to thank the PGA Tour and the entire world of golf for the outpouring of support. Life wasn't always easy for Grayson, and although he took his own life, we know he rests peacefully now. Please respect our privacy as we work through this incredible tragedy, and please honor Grayson by being kind to one another. If that becomes his legacy, we could ask for nothing else. Thank you." And Smylie, you shared, a few items on social media relating to your relationship with Grayson, just the transformation he'd gone through in his life. And I just want to hand it over to you to just your reflections on this tragedy and just, what you know and remember of Grayson.
Yeah, the last 24, 36 hours have been very difficult. Grayson was a friend. I think first and foremost, you got to start there. Somebody that was always there for me and probably some of the lowest points in my career. And I think about Grayson and just the type of person that he was. Yes, he had plenty of his own issues that he was battling, whether it was inwardly or outwardly, where we didn't know what was going on or that everybody knew what was going on. I still feel like Grayson was very personable in all of my interactions with him. Always was very kind, very genuine. And I think that's where you have to start with Grayson. I think he was very misunderstood. He just had so many different things happen to him in the public eye that just made him very unlikable for whatever reason. But for those that didn't know him, they knew the type of heart that he had. With that being said, I think about just what happened and what went down. And, if you'd have told me 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago, or even 2 years ago that this happened, I would have told you it doesn't surprise me. But the news that Grayson had passed away, a couple days ago, that took me by surprise. It took me by shock. I didn't understand it because Grayson had finally righted the ship. Things were finally heading in the right direction. You could see it on his face. You could see it in the way he spoke with not only me, but anybody else around him. And you could also see it in his golf game. So, he's physically and mentally in the best space it seemed like to me he's ever been in. And, it's just very, very, very sad because I think the story that he was still writing wasn't done yet. And I think that to me is what I'm going to always remember, is that, gosh, what a disease, right? When somebody has gone through all the things and finally digging, clawing out of this hole, in which is depression, anxiety, and just alcohol, whatever it is, whether I saw it or didn't see it, and to come out on the other side of it. And then his talent has never gone anywhere. It's the fact that, you see quotes about how Grayson's won on the PGA Tour hungover. He's won on the PGA Tour, not even really trying. And that's how talented of a golfer Grayson is. And I saw it firsthand this year at the Sony Open. I watched him all day Saturday, and I said, holy crap, this guy's unbelievable. And just couldn't really wrap my head around a guy that had that much control and distance and speed off tees at Sony, in which, a lot of guys are just hitting irons and stuff, and he's hitting this flat driver draw on these holes. It was just beautiful to watch. But I think the conversation's kind of open from here, Charlie. I think that it's, to me, how when people have struggled with what the things that he's gone through with mental health, and those seem to be the people that are always the first to always ask how you're doing, because it's almost like they can read a person. And I feel like Grayson always was reaching out to me to seeing how I was doing. And this is somebody at the time who didn't know he was going through anxiety and different mental health issues that I was dealing with, that I didn't know I was having. I just thought, I just got to get through whatever the heck I'm going through. But I just didn't know how far off I was. And Grayson's checking in on me. And I have so many texts and DMs from him just saying, hey man, I've been thinking about you. And for somebody that, like, you would expect that to be from, and there's plenty of people that did reach out to me, but the fact that Grayson was always so consistent about it, I think just goes to show what it means to always have people checking in on you.
I think that's very well said. And I think that, in thinking about the way he was playing this year professionally and the success he's experienced, it's a great reminder that sometimes the people who you feel like are in the best place are hurting internally, and they don't really show you that. And it's a great reminder to, tell your loved ones that you love them and check in on those people, as Grayson did to you, and I'm sure many others. Harry Higgs won his second event on the Corn Ferry Tour, back-to-back wins on the Corn Ferry Tour this week. And in a speech he made after, he said something that
What a speech, by the way. What a speech.
Fantastic speech. And he's a guy, I love Harry Higgs for many reasons, but a guy that often is a very humorous character, just finding those words in that moment to really kind of, say the right thing that was needed. And there was a little excerpt here that said, each day, say something nice to someone you love, and also make it a point to say something nice to someone you do not even know. The world is a very difficult place. I think Harry says it well. And I think, as we take this forward, and you said something to this effect on your social media, under very, very different circumstances this past week, I lost my grandfather. And, my hope and my faith is that he's in a better place. And I think we hold the same hope and faith for where Grayson is now, that he's, past a lot of those struggles and those things he was fighting internally. And hopefully he's relieved of that pain and that stress. And so I just think heartbreaking tragedy, to see parents lose a son, it's never something that is easy to stomach or talk about. But I think that, I just hope he's resting easy, and our faith is that he's in a better place.
Bostonian versus the book.
That was Aaron Rodgers' thing. To a quarterback in the first round.
Yeah.
It's a luxury pick. We don't have the luxury. We're trying to win right now. I'm in a window right now, and you're going to say, no, we're going to plan this for the future. With a guy who had 4 seasons ended by injury. 4. Like, Michael Penix is a walking injury. Like, what are you doing taking him in the top 10?
The Bostonian versus the book.
And now you have to qualify in these majors. You got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness. And I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships.
Mm-hmm.
So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now. And you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live. Prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage Late
This sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Smylie, as you can see behind me, it's getting darker. I think a bat just flew underneath my cabin on the roof. I'm not sure what sort of wildlife we're dealing with out here.
New fans.
New fans of the show. Yes, we're going to have to get them some Smylie Show merch. Where shall I begin on Sand Hills? Do you want me to start with the story of the weekend, the golf play? Do you want me to start with the golf course? Where should I start?
All right. I want you to start with what time it is, what day of the week it is, how long have you been there, and is there any more golf left to be played, and how much golf have you played?
So it is 8:45 p.m. Mountain Time, I believe it is. We're actually the wild thing about Sand Hills is if you keep your, and it's Sunday night, May 26th. If you keep your phone on auto time zone set on the property, it's like a divider line. Like it flips between Mountain and Central Time when you're out here. Very disorienting. Easy to miss an alarm clock for a tee time. Figure it out. I played 36 today with a little lightning delay, a couple hours in there. I played 45 holes on Saturday, and then. And there's a story behind that. It's a total sicko. Basically, Saturday was a bloodbath that we can get into, but like the last 9 holes, I kind of ran out of holes. I was like, wait a second, I started to find something. I found something here. And I was talking to my playing partners. I was like, you guys want to do an E9? And they're like, yeah, let's do it. So just hammer through another 9 holes, 45 on Saturday. We got there on Friday because it's a long trip. I flew from Raleigh. I left at like 8:30 Eastern Friday morning, Raleigh to Denver, and then you have to do a 4-hour drive from Denver, and it's like the kind of northwest part of Nebraska. It's actually the closest border is to South Dakota, or you could go west to Wyoming, or it's like kind of diagonally. You know, if you went southwest, you'd end up in Colorado. Hard place to get to. We got here. Got out for 9 holes. So, okay. So first of all, I just got to give a shout out to the crew. I got to give a shout out to our host, AJ Ferraro, who some may know from, he's caddied for Stuart Hagestad a number of different times in majors, most recently at the Masters.
There you go.
AJ's fantastic host. My little brother, David, was here. Bill Turchin rode with him there, and he was asking me, I was telling him about the podcast. He's like, you do a podcast with Smylie? That's so cool. He's like, my wife, Ellen, wants a shout out. So Ellen, hope you're listening or watching. Shout out to you, Ellen. A great crew of guys from New York City. We had Jackson McCarthy, Jack Lockwood, John Labiak, John Gay. I feel like I'm missing someone in here who's going to be very upset with me if I don't get their name in here. So let me just double check here that I've got everyone. No, maybe I did do everyone. I sure did. There we go. So shout out to the crew, first of all, A+ crew. So this place is, Smylie, unlike anything I've ever experienced in golf, like period. It's like the line that AJ used was like dead on. It's like as if farmers invented golf instead of the Scottish. You're driving out here and it's just all these rolling hills, like kind of native grasses, just perfect to lay out a golf course. And there's a Mr. Youngscap who created this place. There's like a famous story that like he was, negotiating with Ben Crenshaw's agent, to what are you going to do to design the course? And Crenshaw, much to the chagrin of his agent, was said, I reckon I'd do it for free. It was just, the land is that good. And it's like American homestead golf. It's just, and it's so no frills, cabins, you stay on the property. They have like a little place, Ben's porch, like this little kind of, hut where you can get drinks and stuff like that, and where they send you off. And the design is so money. I mean, they have like, there's so many good holes. I'm looking at
pictures right now.
Oh,
so
good.
I
gotta send you more. And the pictures don't even do it justice. Like, I think later tonight we're gonna go to Ben's porch and have some drinks and cigars, and you can see the stars, like clear sky. You can see the stars at night. They're my two favorite holes. I mean, the finishing stretch, 16, 17, 18 is unbelievably good. Long, 612 or 600 plus yard par 5, then a short little 145 yard par 3, and then an uphill right to left par 4. Such a great finisher. I love 7 and 8 back to back, 2 little drivable par 4s. But so here's the thing. So they have 5 different, they don't have like a handicap or rating because it changes based on the wind direction. So they have 5 different scorecards, and then they have a scorecard for south, north,
the wind could
east,
be,
west. Because wind could be anything.
That makes perfect sense, though.
Like the 7, the par 4, like you could hit like a hybrid or a driver depending on the wind direction and the pin. It's just the whole thing. Best burger on earth right here. And there's like a literal cowboy cooks your burgers. Like you come in, you play, you do your first 9 when you go off in the morning. They ask you, what do you want for lunch? Say, burger, cheese, no cheese. I'm a no cheese guy, as we discussed in Louisville. So, and then he cooks this thing up. I believe his name was Tom. I hope I didn't get that wrong. He's wearing a cowboy hat. They put the seasoning on the burger that's like next level. He grills onions right on the grill for you, put it on a pretzel bun, just to die for. And then they had this little dessert, this Oreo fluff dessert that I could have had like 35 Oreo fluffs in a row. Like it was basically like moon pies at Augusta is what I could have done with this Oreo fluff. Just A+ food the entire time. And then you go to dinner. And it's like Nebraska grass-fed, steaks of your choosing, fillets, pepper steaks. I'm ruining it right now because the boys are up for dinner right now. I had a ham and cheese sandwich for dinner, so we had to get the pod done. But I had 2 good steak nights. So it's just the whole thing. It's like so down to earth, no frills, but everything is like top notch food, top notch, like down to earth Midwestern people, and just such a fun golf course and a cool golf course and a course that makes you, think over every single shot. It's just the whole thing was unbelievably good. It's just the best possible. Just love it here. I need to get back as soon as I can. You need to get back. You were actually, people forget that you had a chance to get on this trip, and we're angling for another invite in the future because you have to get to this place.
What are you talking about? I didn't get invited.
Yes, you did. We can offline this discussion. You understandably, you said it's a lot of travel, man. It's a lot of travel. I get it. You've been on the road for a while.
When did you invite me? When did I get invited on this trip?
I mean, I can go back through our texts.
Yeah, you can pull receipts.
We'll do another special on reading Smylie and Charlie's texts. That'll be an episode for another day. Just know that the invite is there, Smylie. You were wanted here at Sandhills. That's coming straight from our host. So just whenever you want to cash that in. Stu Hagestad almost came on this trip. It would be fun if we got a little Stu and Smylie combo out here.
missed call the entire game, whether it's a charge or a block or a deflection that was wrong or a foul that should have been called that wasn't called or vice versa. Give me a 48-minute report. And people that will understand that there's so many mistakes that the referees make over the course of the game that referees, ready folks, don't decide the outcome.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
How fragile are these guys? It's amazing. They're supposed to be the greatest athletes in the world, and yet they can't walk and chew gum at the same time without getting hurt, for goodness sakes.
That Trout injury really is a bummer, too, because people thought he was going to have a big year. And I look, I don't feel bad for the Angels. I don't like Mike Trout in Anaheim. I thought he should have left when his contract was up.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
With the onset of NIL and the transfer portal, it is allowing players to develop further in college, and guys that would maybe be stuck on the bench at a power program and not have as much shine are having the ability to find themselves in the spotlight.
Lane Kiffin came out and said we need to get bigger and more physical in terms of the offensive defensive lines, and that's why he went out and recruited that talent.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
And now you have to qualify in these majors. You got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships. So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid.
My golf game's trash, bro. I'm like, can you press the button right now? Just like the trash button. Trash.
I feel okay. We need a trash button, or what it was the clip from Full Swing you like of Rory talking about. We just need to tear down the like. Is that where we're at? Let's transition to Streamsong, because you got to explain to me. I still don't even think I fully understand what you had to do. This was a Whoop deal where they just basically said play holes until you drop. Is that a good understanding of what it was?
So there was an 18-hole deal that will be filmed here in Birmingham, and the whole thing was building up to Streamsong, building endurance. So we did 18 holes we filmed in Birmingham, walking, 36 holes in Birmingham walking, and then 2 weeks later we go to Streamsong. So that was this week. We get down there and we play the Streamsong Black, Streamsong Blue, then Streamsong Red, and then there's a chain short course, and we played however many holes where we got to 63. So I think we played 9 of the chain. So we played 63 holes all in one day. It just happened to be 95 degrees, and it felt like 100 degrees. It was insane. But I figured out that golf, turns out it's not that fun. If you play 63 holes and you're not playing well, you're like, man, could have really just called it quits after 18 and probably gone to hit golf balls, because I probably need to. But anyways, we played all that. The first couple of, so there was 18 holes, 36 holes were with Whoop, and then Streamsong was also with Whoop, and then Hyper Ice was also involved. So we had came away with some awesome Normatec gears, all their Hyper Ice products and stuff. So I'm a big rehab recovery guy, so this is huge for me. The fact that I have all of the bells and whistles to deal with my really tired body that I shouldn't be complaining about that much anymore, but I have now the things to make me feel great. So, hey,
did you get the Normatec leg sleeves? Did you get the two, like the long leg sleeves you can like pump up? And
yeah.
Those are so good.
I've had them for probably 8 years, but they have these ones coming out soon in a couple of weeks, I believe, that are like, batteryless, like you don't have to plug it into anything, so pretty sick.
Really?
Yeah, so like you don't have to plug it in it's just just like Bluetooth. It's sweet.
That's wild. Yeah, those are primo. Hyperace makes good stuff.
Yeah.
So let me ask you on Streamsong, because I want to dig into the details. Like, funnily enough, to connect the two trips, we went to Streamsong for my brother's bachelor party, and the first thing we did was, I think, that short course of the chain. I don't know if I knew that was the name at the time, but we just went out there. It was like a 7-hole loop, and we played 42 holes and smoked 4 cigars. And I woke up the next morning with the worst headache I've ever had in my entire life. Wanted to die. And then we still had to go out and play golf the rest of the week. But that was such a blast. I love that place so much. So give me your ranking, red, blue, black. How do they like? Which one do you like the most, least? They're all great courses, but what was your ranking?
So I'll get into the ranking. I'll tell you that I think the black course was the most fun to play.
Yes.
Probably the one that yeah, that was the one that was the most fun to play. The blue course, I felt like I would have liked the more I played it. The red course, that was immediately to me the toughest test and probably the best piece of land of all of the 3 courses. And I probably would want to play the black course the most, because it's the most playable, very, very user friendly, I felt like. But I think if I was playing there every day, I would probably find myself wanting to play the red course the most. And then I think the blue, I don't remember enough about the blue, because it was kind of during it was the second round of the day. And I've kind of like, I don't know if I blacked out, but I typically remember just about every hole that I play. And I'm just space cadet. I can't remember hardly anything. So, which is weird. So it makes me wonder, it's like, all right, how good was the blue? But I remember thinking like, oh, that's a cool hole. So there was definitely some holes I really liked on the blue, but I just don't think it got my fullest attention. So if I had to rank, I would probably go red, black, and blue. But blue's not far from second. It's just, and I don't think red's that far away from second as well. I just think that if I'm going to go play it one time, I probably would. I think the black course reminded me like I was somewhere not in Florida. It just was.
Yes.
It felt like I was overseas.
Using the parlays against one another, right? And being able to get a little bit of juice consig, I found to be a little interesting.
Believe me, all the rhombuses and parallelograms are constantly trying to search and find out those things every day. It's one of the battles that you know, as you expand the menu, you encounter new battles.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
How fragile are these guys? It's amazing. They're supposed to be the greatest athletes in the world, and yet they can't walk and chew gum at the same time without getting hurt, for goodness sakes.
That Trout injury really is a bummer too, because people thought he was going to have a big year. And I look, I don't feel bad for the Angels. I don't like Mike Trout in Anaheim. I thought he should have left when his contract was up.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
With the onset of NIL and the transfer portal, it is allowing players to develop further in college, and guys that would maybe be stuck on the bench at a power program and not have as much shine are having the ability to find themselves in the spotlight.
Lane Kiffin came out and said we need to get bigger and more physical in terms of the offensive defensive lines, and that's why he went out and recruited that talent.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
And now you have to qualify, and these majors, you got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships. So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid.
I actually got a great story about. So everything was first class. Like everything was first class. But this guy comes up and he's in this golf cart and it's a hot day. And he's like, "Hey, you guys want any towels?" And I'm like, "Heck yeah, dude. Like, where have you been all day? Like, I would love a cold towel." And he's got this red cooler that you would see at a soccer game. That's the team mom brings up.
White top.
It's strapped into the back of the it's strapped into the back of the cart where the golf clubs would be. And I kind of like start to walk around there to, I'm expecting to open up this red cooler and have the option between a cucumber lime scented frozen or cold towel, or a nice lavender or a peach mango flavored scented towel that you can just, you just take it all in. And so I'm picturing all of these things in this red cooler that's in the back of this golf cart. And as soon as I say yes, he's like, "Yep, all right." And instead of getting up out of the cart, he reaches back behind him to where, you'd put your head covers of your driver. And he grabs this washcloth, or that probably it seemed like it was from 1936. And he doesn't get up out of the cart. So he reaches here, grabs it, gives it to his other hand. And now he goes, and the beer cooler that's just right here on the left side of your cart, he opens it, and then he stuffs this washcloth in just whatever water was in there. I mean, who knows how long this water's been there, how long he's been dunking his hand in this thing today. And he just gets it in there, and he just up and down like it's a ball washer, and just trying to get this thing cold and wet. And immediately I'm like, I don't want this anymore. And then as I'm going to grab it, just trying to be nice and cordial, because like now it's just going to be, just a nice, get your hands nice and clean. But as he's handing it to me, he drops it on the ground. And so now I have this grassy, dirty, cold, like wet washcloth that has no business like touching anything in my body. It's just like, I mean, I had to tell this story, and it's nothing to do with any of the rest of the experience. Everything else was 10 out of 10, but I've just thought, it just seemed like it was going to be this like perfect washcloth towel that turned out to be just this. It was one of the funniest things I've ever had on the golf course. That was unexpected.
Just watching it drop in the dirt, going from the thing that you were going to put on your face to the thing that you were going to use to scrub your 7-iron to the thing that you're just, I'll just throw that on the floor of the cart and we'll maybe wipe our hands off. That's a tough scene.
Oh, I was walking, by the way. You talked about you. I walked 63 holes. So the Normatec at the end of the day was much needed. And I actually found they have the spa there. And after the 36 hole round, we had like an hour before our next round for the red course, and made my way to the spa and did a cold plunge for about 2 different times. I went like cold, hot, cold, and then took a shower. And then I felt like I had new legs for the third round, which is crazy to say. But by the way, I think I'm going to get a cold plunge. I'm such a cold plunge guy. And I think I'm going to bite the bullet and do it. And if you're somebody that has already bit the bullet and you're a cold plunge person, please drop your recommendations in the comments, because I feel like I want something that I could start the day with. Especially like, it's popular when your accountant buddies are like, dude, yeah, like you're not a cold plunge guy. It's like, I feel like this is a craft beer thing now. It's like now these craft beer guys are like, wait, what do you mean you don't cold plunge every morning? So naturally, as somebody has always cold plunged, now I feel obligated to be like, well, I mean, I've been doing this longer than you, but I feel like I need to keep up with the times. And that's kind of where I sit now with cold plunges, because I can't have my accountant friends, out hustling me here.
Well, I mean, your accountant friends have cold plunges because they're accountants. And, I think that I would love that. I love a good ice bath like that. Like for me, it's like, would I love to have a cold plunge? Yes. But what do I do instead is I drive down to the gas station. I get 4 bags of ice and I fill up the bathtub and I dump those in. And that's my cold plunge.
Yeah, that's great. But you
need
if you want to do
thing.
it regularly, but you don't want it to go to the 4 bags of ice every time you do it.
You definitely don't. If you work with a cold plunge company, like, please sponsor the show and send us cold plunges. I would love to be cold plunge gang. My very janky ice baths are so refreshing and restorative for the legs. Like if you've been working out for a long time, you need to kind of like move, just freshen them up a little bit. No better way to do that than with an ice bath. And I imagine that's even better cold plunge. So get one and then I'll come visit you and sit your cold plunge all the time.
You know what would look really good is a big old fat cold plunge gang logo on that pink hoodie you got on right there.
Yes, cold plunge gang. What if we did a podcast
just right there?
Two cold plunges
right there.
We could get cold plunges facing each other and do a podcast from inside the cold plunge. Now that's a great idea right there. That's $1 million idea. Cold plunge companies, let us know. I mean, we're ready to make this happen.
Maybe at the U.S. Open, maybe. I don't know.
It's certainly going to be hot enough in Pinehurst, North Carolina, in the middle of June.
Yeah.
So look forward to that. Really hope pants and Pinehurst is going to be an interesting situation. On Streamsong, I'm about the same place on the rankings. Although I liked Blue a lot. Blue's the Tom Doak. I like that downhill par 3 over the water. We had to kind of go across that bridge to get down there. I love that hole. There's like a par 5 on the front at red that's so good with like it's like an old rock quarry, I think is what it is, or like
7.
That is what that hole I vividly remembered. Loved that hole.
Beautiful.
With like the mound in front of the green, so it's kind of like a half blind approach in there. Just so well done. And then black was
the hard thing of. The hard thing about blue and red, Charlie, is that the blue is the inner part of the property, and then the red is kind of the outskirts. So they kind of run together.
Yeah, well, I think it's fun that like there's so many connections here. Like Core Crenshaw obviously did Sandhills, and so you can see just their style of creativity in both places. And we just had Gil Hance on the pod, and it to me, black feels like Gil at his most creative. And I got the windmills out there, and it's just like, let's just do paint on a fun canvas and let people go have a different experience than blue or red. And to your point, something that's not really Floridian as much as it is kind of borrowing from all different types of iconic holes and types of greens. And they have a punch bowl green out there that's a ton of fun.
Oh, the punch bowl green was sweet. Gil put the punch bowl green on, I think it was like somewhere on the black course. I don't remember what hole it was, but it was sweet.
It was, I want to say it was 8 or 9. We actually only played 11 holes because we had a lightning storm when we were there, so we had to leave. But yeah, that was with the windmill. I think the windmill might be behind that hole. I don't remember exactly, but ton of fun.
It's right there. It's right there.
Yeah. Well, how about us playing golf? Playing maybe some mediocre golf, but some good golf. There's a good golfer in there.
No, I've hit the panic button, restart, refresh, Control Alt Delete. We are going through. We're blowing it up, as Rory says. We're going through full rebuild because guess what? I feel good enough to top 10 in a 12-man game, but I really feel like in order to be low man, I need to blow this thing up. I know what I need to do, but I think over the last year and a half, I've kind of hid some of these problems that I kind of had with like one feel that I was able to kind of get in play and go, be somewhat not like PGA Tour competitive, but like I could go out and just shoot 5-6 under par, drive it in play, iron, just get on the greens and be a good putter like I am. But now that I've gotten to the point to where I feel like I have no idea where the face is, that's a problem.
And any book that has Mason Miller is not only not listed, he's not even priced. Like Colton Cowser is priced as if Mason Miller doesn't exist.
They don't think he's going to meet the innings required, minimum, whatever things. That there might be some stipulation that they're going, we're going to put him in there and he's not going to be eligible to win. And we're going to have to give all the bets back.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
And now you have to qualify in these majors. You got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness. And I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships. So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live. Prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
I'm interested because I actually don't know where, I should just look this up before the podcast, but I don't know where Davis is from, but I know he went to the University of Alabama. So I assume that you have some form of So from Mississippi, interesting. So did you, where was he in relation to you in terms of like age and junior events and things like that? Like, what do you know about Davis's background? And obviously played at Bama, played in the SEC, like just, where he is now. Obviously he's a super talented player, but what do you have any sort of color on Davis's background and how he gets to this point, first time winner on PGA Tour?
Yeah, he's a younger guy. He's very, very good. He won at every single level. He was dominant as a junior, dominant as an amateur. Didn't take him long to get to the PGA Tour. He's got the picturesque golf swing. He's the type of guy that when you look at his game, you're like, man, why isn't he like one more? It seems like he hasn't gotten enough out of how good he is. And there's been plenty of players kind of similar to that are just so pure. You're like, what? Like, what is missing? I think with Davis, it's been a bit of trying to be too perfect and then trying to find the secret formula of being perfect. And this has been going on for a long time, like just changing coaches quite often. He was no stranger to just pulling the ripcord when he sees a coach, which, as we've seen with Victor, you got to go on these streaks a bit. And Davis has been, I feel like, on a pretty sour streak for quite some time. And then in the last month or so has really started to kick it around and starting to hit the golf ball like we expect Davis Riley to. And if you haven't gone and watched Davis Riley's golf swing, or if you haven't seen him play enough, I'm sure you did if you didn't catch Charles Schwab, but he's back now working with the coach who I feel like he had the most success with, which is Jeff Smith, a guy that's coached plenty of great tour players, tour winners. And man, it's crazy that when guys go back to a coach that they've had success with and immediately start to get it going again. It's the language, it's the communication, it's just having just the ability to kind of knock away the fluff. It's like, hey, I know how, like, this is how I'm going to coach. This is how I'm going to play. Like, what I want to hear, and how I don't want it to be said. And I think that has everything to do with when a player immediately goes back and starts having success, like Davis. I mean, stats this week are off the chart. So It's really good to see, especially winning in Zurich. It almost feels like it doesn't even count if you had another guy, right? Because like, who played better? We don't know. They could have just ham and egged it really well, but playing with Scotty Scheffler in that final group and getting it done, pretty dang good.
And so the flip side of that being Scotty, anytime you see Scotty in a final pairing with a guy who is, hasn't won, at least individually on tour yet, or is maybe, kind of feeling the pressure of trying to get it done with a guy like that, breathing down his neck, had a little bit of a rough day. Do we think this is, are we just chalking this up to more of, the PGA Championship hangover? I mean, I know he's there's still ongoing this week, and this is, golly, this is maybe for a whole nother podcast, but we saw footage of that arrest this week. And I mean, this is not, in any profession, there are people who are very good at their job. There are people who are maybe not so good at their job, but I guess I'm just dumbfounded, to go on a little bit of a tangent here, that the charges have not been dropped yet after seeing that video and the way that played out. Cause I don't know. Is there something we're missing there?
Apparently so. Yeah, I feel like when we're catching this news now, I feel like everybody's come to the assumption now that this is just stupid. Why are we having to draw this out? Why does he have to still deal with this? But I don't know. Maybe there's more video footage that we haven't seen, but it feels like this is an error ball by the Louisville Police Department. That I don't know why they're hanging on to this, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it would seem to me that given what we've seen, that there should be bigger and more important fish to fry than trying to, get to the bottom of an $80. I mean, I don't even know how he ripped his pants, given what we saw, or if it was. I have so many questions, and I don't know that it's worth even getting into now. But to keep it to the golf, at least on Scotty, I mean, this is, again, he's in a final pairing. It's another, top 10, top 5 for him. Do we just think this is a sort of expended a lot of energy? He's not playing the Canadian Open this week. He gets to kind of recharge a little bit. I mean, what version of him do you think
he needs a recharge?
He sure does.
I feel like he needs just 7 or 8 days just away from it. Just go home, go full dad mode, and deal with all the crap that, he's probably not been dealing with at all, which is the stuff with the what happened in Louisville, which is still doesn't even feel like real life. But Memorial, I mean, Scotty finished second. Like, and did he even have his ace? No, we didn't even have close to his ace stuff this week. It's just what we expect to see from the man, and that's find himself in contention. Didn't get it done, but. Yeah, good to see Davis Riley not only win, but just win. I mean, 14 under, nobody else in double digits.
Just went out and got it.
Yeah, and like I could tell too, a lot of the comments too about Colonial, just how it's like not quite grown in and perfect or lush the way that we're accustomed to seeing it. But I think it's going to continue to get better and better year after year. I think there was a lot of positivity about the way the golf course was presented to the players. And we had a great conversations with Gil and Ryan. If you haven't listened to those conversations with Ryan Palmer and Gil, go listen to it. It's fun hearing that whole process, how it played out. So we got to watch the tournament this week and we're curious of what are the changes they made. Well, we kind of broke it down in pretty quite detail, I'd say. So I would say just looking at the rest of the leaderboard though, Charlie, of just names that kind of stick out. Colin Morikawa, man, like I'm just gonna not I'm not gonna continue to comment on his game, because the less I say, the better he plays. As soon as I buy stock, I feel like is when he's gonna miss a cut again. So Colin, keep doing you. I'm just going to stay over here in the shadows. I'm not even going to pick you for one and dones. I don't want to even put the pressure on you. So, but look at my man Sepp Straka lurking there, T5 this week. I'm telling you, man, I just think he's building up to have a chance at one of these last two majors. It just feels like he's going to be there at one of these two. I don't know which one. I have that feeling.
miss call the entire game, whether it's a charge or a block or a deflection that was wrong or a foul that should have been called that wasn't called or vice versa. Give me a 48-minute report. And people that will understand that there's so many mistakes that the referees make over the course of the game that referees, ready folks, don't decide the outcome.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
How fragile are these guys? It's amazing. They're supposed to be the greatest athletes in the world, and yet they can't walk and chew gum at the same time without getting hurt, for goodness sakes.
That Trout injury really is a bummer too, because people thought he was going to have a big year. And I look, I don't feel bad for the Angels. I don't like Mike Trout in Anaheim. I thought he should have left when his contract was up.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
With the onset of NIL and the transfer portal, it is allowing players to develop further in college, and guys that would maybe be stuck on the bench at a power program and not have as much shine are having the ability to find themselves in the spotlight.
Lane Kiffin came out and said we need to get bigger and more physical in terms of the offensive defensive lines, and that's why he went out and recruited that talent.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
And now you have to qualify, and these majors, you got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships. So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid.
What stood out for you looking at the board?
Well, I mean, you hit on a lot of names that definitely were the ones that I wanted to earmark. I thought, man, tough Sunday for Tony Finau, who 5 over on Sunday, had a chance, was a guy that we liked heading into the week, and just, for whatever reason. And that, to kind of go back to the course thing, I mean, it is insane that they ripped up the entire place and got it ready within a year. I mean, even the fact that they were able to do that is, a remarkable achievement. But of course the greens are going to be overly firm. Of course there's going to be, grass growth that they haven't really had time to kind of get it going to where they want it to be. So I think that'll all kind of bake in with time. But I think that at the same time, all the comments I heard from players this week were almost kind of like cautiously optimistic, where it's like, yeah, like I think they did a really good job, and it's just going to, it's like almost like they didn't want to issue a full verdict because there were things like, balls not reacting the way they thought they were going to on the green because it was, super firm or whatever else. And
that's expected.
That just makes it tough. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Finau was a big one for me. You see Minwoo Lee's chip in at 18 to close out his tournament. He had a tough Sunday as well, but that was a fun little moment for him.
I'm looking at Tony Finau's scoring averages by round real quick, Charlie. His round 4 scoring average is 118th on the PGA Tour this year. I was curious to see if that was just like a trend of him not playing well on Sunday. He's 25th, 21st, and then it's the weekend he's been 79th and 118th. So this year it's been Thursday, Fridays have been good, and then Saturday, Sunday tailed off about a stroke each round.
And we, of course, the one and done heater is officially dead. If it wasn't already after the PGA Championship, we have to issue an apology. Smylie has to issue less of an apology than I do, because Smiley's pick, Justin Rose, finished T32 after shooting his 3 over par on Sunday, finished even par for the tournament. And the guy who I called
plays good on Sunday, he's right there.
He's right there. And the guy who I called a stone cold lock, Austin Eckroat, missed the cut. So good for me for doing that. And I think we're going to try a little something different for the one and done this week. We're gonna tack that on to our interview episode that'll drop later in the week, because we got to go back to the drawing board, Smylie. We got to figure out a way to get the magic back. We're trying some different things, experimenting, and it's not working. So we got to just reevaluate. We're going to get back there, we promise, but not our best showing the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. I liked my pick with Justin Rose. I didn't see that as a winner, but I really felt like it was a good top 10 play. And shoot, if he goes out and shoots 300 today, it's a top 5. So it was really close to a really good week, good pick. Not a guy that I was planning on picking any other big week. So I felt like it was a player in which that has won there, has top 5 multiple times. Felt like it was a good pick, close to getting there. I found myself kicking myself sometimes on these one and dones later. It's like, man, I was on these guys, and why didn't I just stick with it? I think I need to kind of come up with my pot of guys and be a little bit more strategic in how I pick these guys.
Yeah, fair. I don't know what I need to do. I need to just go back. I need to figure out a new formula. You're closer than I am, that's for sure. Listen, we've done just about recap just about everything we had on our list. Although the one thing I want to come back to is after being sent videos of my son all weekend long, picking blueberries and out in the yard, with the hose with the dogs, and being like, man, I miss him. I miss me, Dad. It's like and you touched on it briefly in talking Scotty. It's like almost lost in the shuffle of the whole police thing that happened in Louisville. Is like he has a newborn son at home. Like Scotty, like he needs to go be a dad for a little bit. And I don't know what that's going to do for his sleep schedule, but I think, knowing what we know about him, that might kind of be a nice just mental lift. Even if he's not getting sleep, just like the joy of being a dad. Maybe that's the boost that Scotty needs.
Yeah, very well could be. I don't think he's going to play much golf next week. I wouldn't expect it.
Yeah, not at all. Well, it is very cold here outside now, Smylie. The temperature has dropped precipitously here in Mullen, Nebraska. I got to go see if the boys want to go hit Ben's porch to look at the stars here in Sand Hills on our last night. So I think this is an appropriate place to wrap the episode, unless you have any final thoughts for the good people.
I think just continue to pray for Grayson Murray and his family, also to your family as well with your loss, and safe travels back, and looking forward to our episode this coming week.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think it's a good place to just wrap it up, is just hug a loved one, check in on someone, let them know you care about them. That's the lasting legacy that Grayson Murray's parents would love for him to have. So do that, and we appreciate you taking the time to watch and listen, and we'll be back here in a couple days with a brand new episode. Talk to you then.